All righty. Well, now that you guys are masters at solving one-step equations, let's move on to solve two-step equations. That's right. So just like solving one-step equations, you still have to isolate the variable. However, you now are undoing two, I repeat, two operations instead of one this time. Okay, all right. So to kind of give you a little bit of background before we get jumping into two-step equations, if I gave you this problem right here, 2 minus 4 times 8 plus 6 divided by 3, you would have to follow PEMDAS. That's right, everybody. PEMDAS. PEMDAS is called the order of operations, where it wants us to do parentheses first. I hope I spelled that right. I'm sorry. Then it would be exponents. All right. So that's like 2 to the third power kind of deal. All right. Then it's multiplication or division, whatever occurs first. Then it's addition or subtraction, whatever occurs first. All right. So if we were to solve this, okay, 2 times 4 times 2 minus 4 times 8 plus 6 divided by 3. All right, so we would go through this. There's multiplication because I don't see parentheses. And when I talk about parentheses, that means you have like something inside the parentheses right there that you have to do. The only reason that this 8's in parentheses is so it's separated and you know there's multiplication in between those two. So this, I'm going to go ahead and use my multiplication. So this becomes 2 minus 4 times 8 is 32 plus 6 divided by 3. All right, so check. Now, division comes next. So 2 minus 32 plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. All right, then we go addition or subtraction, whatever occurs first. Well, subtraction occurs first. 2 minus, oh, keep change. Much better, right? So 2 plus negative 32. Those are two different sign numbers, so we subtract and give it the sign of the larger number. So it's negative 30 plus positive 2. Same thing. Two different sign numbers, so yada, yada, yada. Our answer is a negative 28. Okay, so if I were to give you a problem like this, we would have to follow the order of operations, okay? But when you have an equation, you actually go backwards through PEMDAS. So what that means is when you solve your two-step equation, you are going to first undo the addition and subtraction, whatever with your variable, and then you're going to undo the multiplication or division, okay? So let me show you what it looks like by using this model. All right, so this model, here's what I'm going to tell you. We don't know the value of these. We do know that these, since they're red, all have a value of negative 1. All right, but our job is to find out how much these sticks are. So since I don't know what they are, I know that these are variables, they're unknown. Well, in order to do this, I have to get rid of these guys first, all right? Because these share the side of this. So look at, those are all negative 1, right? So in order to cancel out a negative, I know that I am going to have to zero it out. So I am going to use a green one, which is a positive, because that will cancel those out. So I'm going to pair up all of these here. Pair up all of these here. Okay, all right. Now, guess what? Since I just added those 6 on that side, I have to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so I have to add up. I have to add the same amount because remember, it's a teeter-totter and I got to keep balance. So watch. I just paired all of these up. So what that means is that these are all zeroed out. They're gone. They're gone. They're gone. They all zero out. They're gone. Okay. Over here, these guys get together and they zero out. These guys get together and zero out. These guys get together and they zero out. So what I did is I just made sure that I got rid of all of the single things. Now I am going to take the leftovers that I have, and I'm going to say one for you, and one for you. So our unknown comes out to be 1. Now, some of you guys might have understood that, and some of you might have been like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Parkin, you just threw me out the door. What are you talking about? So for all of you guys that didn't get it that way, we're going to solve it like an equation. So I had x, 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 or I had 3 x's. Minus 6, because I had 6 negatives, and then I had a negative 3 on the other side. So watch, ready? First, my variable, these are the questions that you must ask. My variable is x, okay? Right now, what I see is I have subtracting 6. So the inverse of that, I know I'm going to have to add 6 to cancel that out. I see multiplying by 3. So to cancel that out, I know I'm going to have to divide by 3. Okay? So this tells me what I have to do. Well, let's do it. So minus 6. I'm going to do the inverse of that, which is add 6. If I did that here, I have to come over and do that on the other side. Watch what happens. Negative 6 plus 6, that zeroes out, leaving me with 3 times x over here. Over here, negative 3 plus 6 is a positive 3, because 6 minus 3 is 3, 6 is bigger, so it's a positive. Now this is multiplication, so the inverse is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by the number in front of x, which is a 3. Okay, what I do on this side, I do on that side. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x. 3 divided by 3 is also 1. And there's my answer. And I can plug it in. 3 times 1 minus 6 equals negative 3. 3 minus 6, well, what do you know? That is true. Okay? All right. Okay, moving forward. Let's do another example. Okay? So first of all, there's my equal sign, so put in your Great Wall of Fence of China. All right, your variable is x. I see I am adding 12 to x, so that must mean I am going to have to subtract 12. I see I'm multiplying x by negative 2. That means I'm going to have to divide by negative 2. Please remember, you always start with the addition or subtraction. Do not undo the multiplication or division first. So subtract 12 from both sides. Those cancel out to 0, leaving me with this left over. Now, this is where my algebra students had trouble, first quarters students had trouble, because they see this right here and they're like, oh, that's negative 8. Look at what this looks like. Negative 20 minus 12. Keep change. Keep change. And now it's like, oh, negative 20 plus negative 12 is a negative 32. So we know that that was multiplication. So this tells me what I do next. Here's my division bar. What's the number that I have to divide by? A negative 2, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. So x equals 32 divided by 2 is 16. Negative divided by negative is a positive. So there is my answer. Okay. All right. And then I could plug it in and test it out to see if it works. Okay, here we go. Another problem. Okay. So now look at this. And first of all, you know what? This is the best way to do this. So my variable is x. I see that I'm adding 8 to x. So that must mean I'm going to have to subtract 8 to cancel that out. Next, this fraction bar is also a division sign. And it looks like I'm dividing x by 2. So that means I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to cancel that out. So here we go. Also, I kind of forgot to tell you guys this. So do you guys see how I've been solving all these? All of my work has been going this way, right? And I would solve something and rewrite the equation, solve something and then rewrite it. I am telling you right now, this is where Mrs. Picky Parkin comes in. All right, because I know where you go in algebra next year. And so I am telling you, please solve the equations like this. I promise you, it will keep you organized when you have to do your own. Because I will tell you guys, I have seen students solve this, and this problem right here, they would be like, you know, as they do that, and then they do that, and it would just be absolutely messy. Well, here's the problem. You might be able to get away with that now, but when you are solving a huge, ginormous multiple step equation, you will get lost, you will get unorganized, and you will get it wrong. So I promise you, this is the best way to solve equations, by doing it step by step. So we're going to always start with the addition first. So since it's adding, the inverse is subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Those cancel out. So I'm going to take this and bring it down. So it's x divided by 2. 12 minus 8 is 4. Okay. Now this is division. So the inverse is multiplication. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. These cross cancel out, leaving me with x. 4 times 2 is 8. And I could plug it back in and show you that it works, because 8 divided by 2 plus 8, does that equal 12? 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 plus 8, well, what do you know? It equals 12. Okay? All right, so this is just checking to make sure it works. All right, two more examples. All right, so again, first step, put your wall in. Okay, I see x is being subtracted by 10, so I'm probably going to have to add 10. I see that x is being multiplied by -5, so that means I'm going to divide by a -5. Okay, so here we go. Add 10 to both sides. Those cancel out, leaving me with this left over. -5 times x. Over here, I'm adding 2 different sign numbers. So I would actually subtract them and give it the sign of the larger number. So that's a -35. Now that's multiplying by x. All right, so I know I'm going to divide. The number that I have to cancel out is a -5. I can't tell you guys how many people would only divide by 5 here, but then you'd end up with a negative variable, and you can't have that. Okay, that's why I have to divide by a -5, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 1 times x is x. Okay, 35 divided by 5 is 7. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. And there's our answer. Okay. All right. And last but certainly not least, okay, again, and I can't tell you guys how important it is to really think about the equation before you start solving it, okay? So I see x, I see that I'm adding 7, so that is gonna mean I'm gonna have to subtract 7. Then I see that I am dividing, oh, look it, there's a negative. So that must mean that that's actually a -4. So that means I'm going to multiply by a -4 so that cancels that out. So put in my great wall china. And first step, I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides, 7 from both sides. Okay, those cancel out, leaving me with x divided by -4 over here. 10 minus 7 is 3. This is division, so the inverse is multiplication. The number I want to cancel out is a -4, so I'm going to multiply by a -4 because a negative times a negative is a positive. These cross cancel out, leaving me with x. 3 times 4 is 12. Positive times negative is a negative. Okay? So I know I went through that really quickly, but please remember, you can always stop it, rewind it, and watch it over again if you got stuck on where something came from, okay? And you guys are ready for your homework.